Todd Chrisley opened up about regularly going to therapy during this week's episode of his Chrisley Confessions podcast. Turns out, both the USA Network personality and his wife go to therapy on a regular basis. Todd made a point to clarify they sought therapy from a Christian therapist. What else did Todd share with his listeners about his therapy? Keep reading for the details. According to the reality TV star, he has every intention of bringing his therapist on his podcast at some point in time. Todd thinks very highly of his Christian therapist, and he believes what his therapist has to say would benefit a lot of his listeners and fans. While Todd and Julie didn't outright say how often they had therapy sessions, Julie did mention Todd's session this week in a way that sounded as though they might get therapy as often as once a week. Early on in the podcast, Todd tells their listeners that he and his wife have developed a new habit, a habit that involves starting their day with prayers. Todd Chrisley explained that his therapist helped him understand that they should pray to God for what they want. Todd's wife, Julie, chimed in on the conversation, noting that praying to God for what you want doesn't mean you'll get what you prayed for. She explained that, oftentimes, people know what they want but not what they need. Julie added it was important to give it to God, because God knows what people need versus what they want. Todd Chrisley's wife continued to explain that things don't always work out as planned or happen the way a person wants them to. Both Julie and Todd, however, agree that God has a plan for them, and their trust in God and their faith is what allows them to continue to move forward every day. Both Todd and Julie Chrisley admitted they've been doing a lot of prayers lately and are leaning heavily on their faith during this difficult time. As TV Show's previously reported, Todd reassured fans he will hold steadfast to his faith that God has them on the right path. Did you know Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie went to therapy regularly? Do you think it helps keep their marriage and family strong? Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and keep coming back for the latest Chrisley Knows Best news. Todd and Julie Chrisley share secret to moving on after guilty conviction sin, an age where reality television often reflects the complexity and chaos of real-life circumstances. Few stories have captured the public's attention as much as that of Todd and Julie Chrisley. Known for their roles in the popular USA Network show Chrisley Knows Best, the couple seem to have it all: wealth, fame, a large family, and a lifestyle that many could only dream of. However, their lives took a dramatic turn in 2022, when both were convicted on charges related to bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Todd, the charismatic patriarch, and Julie, his elegant and supportive wife, had built a brand that showcased their extravagant lifestyle and their family's close-knit dynamic. But beneath the glitz and glam of their reality TV life, trouble was brewing. The Chrisleys were accused of lying to banks to obtain millions of dollars in loans, while also evading taxes for years. Their legal battles, which included an extensive investigation by the federal government, finally culminated in a conviction. Todd was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Julie to 7 years, in addition to probation after serving their sentences. For many, the news was shocking. Fans had watched the Chrisleys on television for years, seeing them as the epitome of the American dream gone right. To hear that their favorite couple had been found guilty of such serious crimes left fans reeling. As the legal proceedings continued, it became clear that the road ahead for Todd and Julie would be difficult. Yet despite the mounting pressure and negative public attention, the couple's resilience remained unwavering. All the Chrisleys' legal troubles and their sentence were often the subject of media buzz. What truly captivated people's interest was how they were able to cope, not just as public figures, but as a family. In interviews, social media posts, and through their personal updates, Todd and Julie shared their journey of resilience, and their secret to moving on after such life-altering events became a topic of deep reflection. Through a mix of faith, family support, and a clear vision of what the future could look like, Todd and Julie provided a glimpse into how they were not only navigating the aftermath of their convictions, but also finding ways to move forward. Faith, the foundation of their strength from the outset of their trials. Todd and Julie were transparent about their unwavering faith in God. Both have frequently spoken about their Christian beliefs and how central faith has always been in their lives. It was no surprise then, when they publicly leaned into their spirituality during the difficult months. For Todd, it wasn't just about relying on God to get them through the tough times, but also about finding peace and purpose in a journey that felt deeply unjust. In one heartfelt post on Instagram, Todd said, "We may have been brought low in the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of God, we are redeemed. I know that this trial is just a chapter in our story, not the end of it." Julie, too, echoed similar sentiments. She often referred to her faith as the source of her ability to remain calm amid the chaos. She shared that she had learned to pray more deeply during her darkest hours, finding solace not just in asking for help, but in expressing gratitude for the lessons learned through their struggles. Faith for the Chrisleys didn't just mean a private connection to God. It extended to their relationship with their fans, followers, and those close to them. By continuing to express their faith in God publicly, they gave their supporters a sense of hope and comfort, even in the face of their legal challenges. Family. The unbreakable bond of the most heartwarming aspects of Todd and Julie's journey has been their continued focus on their family. Despite the public humiliation and stress of legal battles, they made it clear that their primary focus was always their children. The Chrisleys have 5 children: Lindsay, Kyle, Chase, Savannah, and Grayson, who have all been supportive throughout the legal struggles. For Todd and Julie, the strength they drew from their children was vital to their survival. Savannah, their second oldest daughter, took on a particularly important role as both a confidant and a protector of the family's image. As an adult, Savannah was no stranger to the media spotlight, and she often posted updates on social media, sharing messages of love and resilience from her parents. In interviews, she spoke openly about her parents' love for each other and the unwavering support they gave her during her own personal challenges. For Todd and Julie, family was a central pillar that they leaned on during tough times. Their love for each other was evident in how they communicated during their trial and sentencing. Their social media posts consistently included messages of unity, despite the fact that their lives were, in many ways, falling apart in the public eye. Julie commented, "We will stand by each other, no matter what the world says or does. Our bond is our strength." This devotion to family extended beyond the immediate circle. Todd and Julie's extended family rallied around them, providing emotional support, prayers, and practical help as they navigated life after the convictions. The Chrisleys made it clear that no matter how difficult the external circumstances were, they would always have each other to rely on in public image. Facing reality with dignity. Another significant aspect of Todd and Julie's resilience was how they handled their public image. While many public figures might retreat into private life after such a scandal, the Chrisleys took a different approach. They didn't shy away from discussing their situation openly with their fans. Todd addressed the charges with the media, maintaining a tone of conviction and confidence despite the gravity of the situation. "We've been through so much, and we're not going to let this define us. We're human, we've made mistakes, but we have faith, and we will emerge stronger. This is part of our story, and we're not afraid to share it." Julie also faced the media with grace. She often took to Instagram, sharing family moments and offering reflections on life in the wake of their conviction. Both Todd and Julie demonstrated that facing public scrutiny with humility and honesty was another way they could move on, by controlling what they could and sharing their side of the story. They refused to let shame or guilt cloud their narrative. While there were moments of anger and frustration, especially when they appealed the verdict, it was clear that the Chrisleys were determined to maintain their dignity throughout the ordeal. They realized that their actions, both public and private, would impact how they would ultimately be remembered. For them, it wasn't about escaping the consequences of their actions, but rather about confronting them head-on. The road ahead. Moving forward with purpose. For Todd and Julie, the future is about rebuilding. While the legal battles have far from ended, they are using this time to recalibrate their lives and reimagine what comes next. In a joint statement, They expressed their desire to turn this chapter of their lives into something meaningful. "It's not about the past anymore," Todd said during one interview. "What matters now is how we choose to move forward. Our faith and family have carried us so far. We'll keep moving forward with purpose and live with integrity, because that's what we owe to ourselves and to the people who have supported us." Julie echoed these sentiments, stating that